Whether in medical school or PA school, people waste a lot of time because they don't understand the difference between these three concepts. The three concepts are repetition, retrieval, and recognition. I'll explain to you exactly what the difference is and why it matters. Remember to like the video and follow my page for daily tips on how to become a doctor. Now let's get into it. Let's go through this in tiers of how valuable each thing is. The bottom tier is repetition. You can repeat something beneficial, something useless, something harmful. It doesn't matter. If you're doing it again and again and again, it's repetition, which is why the term spaced repetition is not correct. It doesn't mean anything. The other two words actually refer to separate cognitive tasks. Recognition is what a lot of people do when they're doing flashcards. They pull up a flashcard, they look at it, and they say, I know what that is. They flip it over, it confirms like, yep, I know what it is, and they move on. That is recognition. Recognition is very easy for the brain to do. It's just, have I seen it before? Yes/no. It has nothing to do with whether you understand it or whether you're able to acknowledge the cue to retrieve the full scope of knowledge from your memory. Which brings us to the last thing, which is retrieval. When most people who are talking about study methods in PA school or medical school talk about spaced repetition, what they mean is spaced retrieval, but the nuance is very important. Think about when you're doing a practice question. The practice question says, solve this problem. Now, you have to recognize what type of content is necessary in order for you to perform the task. But once you've recognized that you need to recall a certain formula, equation, or piece of knowledge, you need to retrieve it from memory. You need to retrieve the process by which you apply that knowledge to solve the problem at hand. Then you need to go through other cognitive tasks with that material. So you might have to apply logic to differentiate between answer choices. You might have to apply calculation once you've recalled a formula. When you're studying, if you want to be maximally effective and efficient, if you want the content to really stick, your method has to leverage retrieval. If you're doing practice questions, you are retrieving consistently, and then you're learning in context when you need new points of strategy or content. Now, I don't recommend flashcards to anyone for most things. In my experience, over 9 years of helping people become doctors, you just achieve less content mastery per time when you're investing time in that. But if you're doing flashcards, there's a way to do it better than the other way. So if you're just looking at a flashcard like, oh, I recognize it, flip it over and do it, it's not, you're just reassuring yourself. But if your flashcard said something like, what investigations would you order for someone's first presentation of psychosis, and in what order would you order them? Now you're sitting there thinking about the logic of it, you're forcing yourself to go through it, maybe saying it to yourself out loud, so there's a bit more of a retrieval task there, and then you flip it over and confirm. Not as good as a practice question, but better than what most people do. I hope that clarifies things.